and you kind of agonize with her.
People who have aphasia, their families and professionals, have definite ideas about what the public should know about this problem.
The most important thing that people really need to know is that aphasia doesn't go away. You have it for the rest of your life. You deal with it every day, and I'll continue to deal with it until the day I die.
People need to understand that they need to take a little more time and allow the person time to think, time to talk. It's like I always tell, when Howard and I first started dealing with Sarah, he would talk loud. And I'm like, Howard, she's not hard of hearing, she's aphasic. You know, it really, it doesn't have anything to do with her hearing. She understands what you're saying. Yelling or talking more loudly isn't going to make her understand.
It's important to know that aphasia isn't a disorder of cognition, that one is not necessarily suffering from changes in the ability to think. Much more, it's the ability to put those thoughts into action as language and communication.
I have a mind that's good, but it's not talking very well.
I'd like to search for my own words.
Give them enough time to get their message out. And there's probably nothing more important than conveying an attitude of compassionate listening and making sure that part of that active, compassionate listening is also trying to find out from the person with the aphasia what things he or she thinks they could do to make it easier for facilitating communication.
People need to have patience to let me talk.
Be patient. Be understanding. And let us talk. We don't talk right, but we understand what we needed to say.
Aphasia affects the entire family. The dynamics of communication change. These changes can become obstacles, but often provide opportunities for people to grow closer to one another.
Families have their own problems that result from this condition. Families often have change of status in terms of somebody, the family member who is the breadwinner is no longer the breadwinner. Roles change and responsibilities change. So there are a lot of problems that are not just the person with the aphasia, but are the problems of families too. So for me, both for families and for the person who's had the stroke, you know, the take-home message is don't give up. Don't give up.
I think I get fearful, then I get angry, and then I raise my voice too much, and I fuss and fume and carry on. And then I have to turn around and say, I apologize. And I keep trying to tell her, don't take it personally.
It's been hard on me, Bill, because it's frustrating for him, and it's not good for him. He doesn't understand me a whole lot, but he's good.
Now that I understand that Sarah has aphasia, the communication difficulty, I've learned several things. One is I can't interrupt her because that breaks their train of thought and it's difficult for them to remember what they were saying. The other thing is that if we're in a group setting, she can only deal with one person talking at a time. And the third thing is that you have to be very specific in your instructions when talking to her. They cannot put pieces like a puzzle together sometimes.
Howard talks about his feelings when first hearing about his daughter's stroke.
Almost like the world was coming to an end. You assume you're going to predecease your child, and you realize how fragile and important life is. And to a parent, to a normal parent, your child is the most important thing in your life.
Don was married to his wife Carlene for 58 years. He describes her as a wonderful woman who remained compassionate and a great strength to him.
I expect her to walk in any minute. I buried her at the National Cemetery. And sometimes I'd go to the cemetery just to sit and think and think about old times. She was my wife for 58 years. She drove me everywhere after the stroke.
During the initial stages of recovery, most folks with aphasia are enrolled in individual speech-language therapy programs. It's here that we begin to craft strategies that will facilitate the communication skills of people who have difficulties reading, writing, understanding other people, and using their verbal language. And it's here that we begin to try to address rehabilitation in a very positive light. Does individual speech-language therapy help? Yes. Does communication improve year after year after year? Yes, it does.
I've got better little by little by little by little by little.
It's a long way, but I'm getting better.
Judy's speech therapy was filmed from the beginning by her speech-language pathologist.
Today, May 2nd, no, May 24th.
While her progress in these early weeks was dramatic, years later she continues to improve through group interactions. During these weekly sessions with